Hi, I'm James Ashley.
Okay, yeah.
And I work in the Solomon Islands.
Okay.
Over near Australia, most of the way across the Pacific.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, yeah. And so tell me about the situation, your working conditions out there as far as the ability to have connectivity. I mean, years ago when you guys started out, what did you do as far as getting email back and forth and things
When
like
we first went to the Solomon Islands, we had to get ham radio licenses. We weren't even allowed to use commercial frequencies, so everybody that came in had to get a ham radio license and become qualified. And of course, Morse code, some of us didn't do that very well. But it developed that we were able to use regular radio frequencies, and JARS helped us get radios so we could communicate from the village. And I've benefited from that. My son bit his tongue almost in half when he was like 6 years old, and we were able to make a radio telephone call to a doctor in the States and say, what do we do? And we got help with that. And that was hugely helpful to us to know that we didn't have to pack up and leave the village. We could deal with it ourselves from there. And that was by the radio, because of the radio that we had through JARS. So that's a wonderful help. And then later, we were able to we heard about sending messages by basically email over radio, and the first ones that we experimented with were ham radio programs to do that. And that worked for the one or two of us that actually had ham radio licenses, but the rest of the group didn't have that. And then JARS came in and said, hey, we have this other application, UU Plus, that can work for basically anybody. And we were able to use that, set it up, and it helped with compacting the messages, and it helped with people being able to stay in touch with their kids, to get pictures of their grandkids. And as a new grandfather, I'm become even more sensitive to the real needs that are there. It's not just about sending back translations to consultants and that type of thing, but it's staying in touch. In this time, you need to stay in touch with your family and your constituents, and JARS has been hugely helpful in getting that set up.
Excellent.
We've experimented with BGAN and some things as well with mobile antennas that help us get to terminals that are too far away for normal, mobile stuff. But with a hotspot antenna, you can get to them.
Like cellular coverage.
Like a cellular, yes. It's not a repeater, but it's just an antenna.
Booster.
A booster that gets it, and we're able to do that. And we really appreciate what JARS has done in that.
Great.
So in communication, has been great. Power systems, JARS advised me on solar panels to buy. In the early days, fluorescents, even refrigerators, and then now LEDs, and all those things. And knowing that JARS is up on those things and is abreast of the technology and is able to advise us on how to stay ahead of the curve, that's hugely helpful.
Great.
Hugely helpful.
Well, we're glad to provide service, and we really appreciate the service that you've been providing over the years. It's a real sacrifice to serve overseas in a place where you don't have good power, don't have good connectivity, and
it takes a team, though.
Yeah.
It takes a team, and everybody's got their different gifts, their different skills that they bring to it. And without the team aspect, we couldn't do what we do, and we need help. And so we really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned, you gave an example already of kind of an emergency situation where you had to use a radio. Were there other things that came up, or things that after you had a solution, you're like, oh, wow, we could do this? Things that were kind of a surprise or an afterthought that it brought about? Anything that was...
Well, it seemed like it was an emergency every 3 months. We had to find out what ship was coming. And we were able to, send a request to the Capitol, and they could tell us, okay, the ship that usually comes every the 1st and 15th of the month isn't coming until the 23rd of the month because of maintenance or whatever like that. And so we're able to meet the ship and get tickets for it. And so that type of thing it just made things easier. It just smoothed the path and made us know, okay, we don't have to go wait at the harbor 3 miles away and find out after 2 days of waiting that it's not coming. We knew before we even left. So that's one of the things. But we were able to, like I said, we were able to do sending of materials to consultants and get stuff out to them so that they could, we do the preparation in the village and then send it to the consultant, and he could do his preparation. And then
where was the consultant at? Back in the U.S. or in some other country, or what?
Some of them were in their own village situations.
Uh-huh.
Some of them were in Australia, Adelaide. And just being able to send back and forth was hugely beneficial. And then we would come together. He would have his, he would have he'd have the stuff to prepare for, and then we'd come together and we would be able to meet after having had the stuff ahead of time. So that was really good. One of the other ways that we've appreciated JARS, again, is about power. And it's not just off-grid in the village, but even in the capital, where we're trying to do a grid tie system with a solar system to the, and we're getting good advice about how to make your high-tech, Victron inverter talk to the solar system and talk to the grid, and that's we really appreciate the expertise that JARS brings and can help us, because we're not generator technicians, and we're word people. So thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time, James, to share your experience and your situation with us. So thank you for being able to take time to do that.
Okay, good.